Well. Everybody has the answer for what the Dallas Cowboys should do defensively. I think if there is one thing everybody can agree upon unanimously about the Cowboys is that right now, not right now, but right now, the defense is terrible. And there are so many different reasons that you could name of why the defense is terrible. But I believe that Nate Newton may have the best explanation of anyone I've heard talk about why the Dallas Cowboys defense is so bad. Cowboy fans, every Cowboy fan needs to hear Nate Newton tell us why the Dallas Cowboys defense is bad this year. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, don't forget at the end to please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up this season. And if you see that HYPE button, hit that too. Now let's talk facts. Nate Newton. I'm telling you, man, when I hear Hall of Fame level players talk, Super Bowl winning players from the Cowboys 90s team talk, I'm not saying that I have to agree with everything they say, but I'm definitely listening. And if there's anybody we should be listening to, it is Nate Newton. Because not only does Nate Newton know football, but I believe that Nate Newton explains football in a very practical way to where even the lay person can understand it. And Nate Newton on 105.3 The Fan, shout out to them. Nate Newton is about to give an explanation of why this Cowboys defense is struggling that I have to admit I had never thought about. Let's listen to Nate Newton.
Lines or things that are being talked about with this Cowboys team that you think we need to get a little bit of different perspective on?
Whatever you want to go at. The big thing now is, should we get rid of the defensive coordinator? Should we? Are the players good enough? I've talked to a few people, and you get mixed opinions from everybody. But the question now is, who is the coordinator? Is the players going to do the coordinating, or is Eberflus going to do the coordinating?
Yeah.
Okay, you've had 5 games to date to get this right. The problem I thought, it sounded good, but it ain't good. Man, we're not going to show anything in training camp. We're just going to, come at you. Well, when the live bullets came, all of a sudden you trying to implement your defense with live grown men that can run multiple routes, multiple deals. Your defensive line is not getting there. Now you are learning on the run, as well as the league learning who you are.
Yeah.
Powerful. Mic drop moment for Nate Newton. Mic drop moment. And the reason why that is a mic drop moment for Nate Newton, I said this yesterday. Brian Schottenheimer could afford to do this because Dak Prescott is a 10-year veteran. He's been with CeeDee Lamb. He's been with some of these players on the offensive line. The only new cog in this thing for the Cowboys in the grand scheme of things is George Pickens. I know we have Tyler Booker, Javonte Williams, but you got Dak Prescott. You didn't really change up the offense. You're really just kind of perfecting it in per se, because Brian Schottenheimer had already been here previously with one Mike McCarthy. But when it came to Matt Eberflus, even though he's bringing some of his defensive staff, he hasn't been necessarily working with these players. He hasn't had time to work with these players. Micah Parsons, no longer a part of the defense. So you're basically starting from scratch with this defense. And so Rather than you working on all of the new things you're going to do this season in training camp, rather than you implementing some of those things in the preseason, no, the instructions here were, hey, everything vanilla, because we want to catch the league by surprise. Well, Brian could do that because he's got a veteran on that side of the ball and a field general like Dak Prescott that can actually do that. But who was going to be that field general on the other side of the ball that Matt Eberflus was familiar with, or that general on the other side of the ball that could really help implement and make and catapult this defense? With Michael Parsons being gone, Demarion Overshown being hurt, who was it going to be? And so Nate Newton is exactly right. So now you're trying to implement your defense while at the same time defend other teams. You're trying to defend other teams who don't care nothing about what you're trying to implement, and they're slicing you up as your players are still trying to get used to a system you're trying to implement. Bravo, Nate Newton. Bravo. That right there, that's a mic drop moment. Mic drop moment. Let's listen to some more that he says that I think is very powerful.
And so you put yourself at a disadvantage. I think during the preseason, you should have been out there in preseason games trying to run some of this.
Yeah.
Because that way you could have been observing your players. I'm always of the belief in the new NFL, and you guys talked about it early on about what does the preseason mean. You had one basketball coach saying, I'd rather practice 30 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd rather practice the whole training camp. I'd rather bring in the Rams one week, then we go to the San Diego Chargers the next, because that gives you a better look at your players. When the Rams showed up at our camp, I already knew from that day on. I'm like, whoa.
They put it on.
Y'all remember how we talked about that Rams game, that Rams preseason? And Brian Schottenheimer said it's only preseason. People were saying don't put stock in the preseason. I said it was only preseason because I'm believing in Brian Schottenheimer. Only for us to realize that Rams preseason game was a sign and a premonition of things to come this season. They ran all through us. All through us. They had people running wide open in that scrimmage. Wide open. And what did we do? We continued through the preseason, through the training camp, to continue with just fundamental vanilla stuff, thinking that we're going to step onto a football field in the regular season and just start running on all cylinders. Another powerful point by Nate Newton. Powerful point. Let's hear a little bit more, and then I'll put the link in the description for you to hear the rest, or you can listen to the rest with us on the live stream today at around 4:30. But I'm telling us, man, Nate Newton is dropping megaton bombs
On them.
Yeah, this is going to be a long season.
Yeah.
And I haven't changed. Bobby will tell you every week, I'll be there, what do you think? It's going to be a long season.
Yeah.
How is it that, on the defensive side of the ball, the thing they keep talking about is communication. Like, the communication's bad, which it looks like it. It looks like a lot of times they're just in busts where they don't know where they're supposed to be standing. How is it that 6 weeks in, you can have such poor ability to just communicate where somebody's supposed to be? Like, would you naturally think, if that's the case, would you think, all right, well, there's something broken in the way these players communicate ideas to each other, or there's something broken about the way the coach is communicating the idea to the players?
It's 3 ways you can learn. You can learn by looking, you can learn by doing and looking, or you can learn by writing. Writing it down. I was a doer. If I saw it and did it on the field, I was very confident in the game. But if I missed a week of practice and I had to feel my way through the game, I usually struggled for a quarter or so. And so now I got it. So it's how you communicate to the players, but the players have to be receptive. You know, I've talking to people that say, well, this guy says this and this guy says that. Coach has erased all of that. That is Coach Eberflus's job, is to, hey, man, don't go tell Choppy. Don't go tell Nate. What's your problem?
Yeah.
What is your let's get this fixed, because they're talking about going more man. Okay, what does that mean?
Nate Newton is saying something powerful. Nate Newton is talking about the propensity for some of these players to go out and say things to the media rather than trying to work these things out in-house. And again, he said it's Matt Eberflus's job to stop these players from doing it. But the question is this to me: do the players feel accountable to Matt Eberflus? The defensive players, do they feel accountable to Brian Schottenheimer? Or do they feel accountable to Jerry? Because we have clearly seen where some of these players, we're just kind of like the players behind them should be starting. And some of whatever little improvement we've had has been because of injury, and the players who came in, they played better. But nevertheless, he's saying something, because we've heard Trayvon Diggs speak out. We've heard Deron Bland speak out. They're talking about they don't like the zone coverage. They would rather play man-to-man. And this all goes back to Nate Newton says who's going to be calling the plays, because it's very simple. Is it the players running the defense? And what we're watching is the players' reluctance to run the scheme that Matt Eberflus is trying to run, or is Matt Eberflus the problem because his scheme is bad? I think there may be a combination of those two things sprinkled in with what may be the major problem that Nate Newton has said, is that because the Cowboys didn't spend on an entire training camp implementing that defense, rather being vanilla, as they were saying, and now trying to implement this defense, and then all of this frustration is boiling over into just one melting pot of just a terrible defense. And that's why I keep telling people, I'm just being 100% honest. There is no easy fix for this defense. And all these people who keep talking about what the Cowboys should do with these picks, I'm not listening to you. Because there is not one single move the Cowboys can make right now that will exponentially improve this defense. It would have looked better with Micah Parsons, but I don't think there's too much of a different result with Micah Parsons, because the whole thing is just, it's not just the fact that we can't get to the passer. It's the whole thing that's bad. But Nate Newton even addresses that part about the pass rush and all of those things and how certain things work in combination. But I'm telling us, man, we're going to talk about the rest of this today on the live. You gotta check this out, man. This stuff that Nate Newton is saying is absolutely powerful as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys. Because everybody keeps saying that the answer is one thing or another thing, and I think Nate Newton hit it right on the head. It's a number of things. Again, I'm going to go ahead and let Nate Newton say some more things, but if you want to just go over this again with us today on the live, you can. And I'm going to talk about some of the same things. But this thing that Nate Newton says right here about the Cowboys going man-to-man, it's another powerful statement.
That means you're asking your two corners, which is your strong thing of your deal now. Are they number one? Are they healthy enough? Number two, when you go man at one corner and man at the other corner, what does that mean? That simply means that your linebackers are going to have to go man-to-man. Do you trust them? Do you trust your linebackers to go man-to-man? Do you trust your safeties to have to come up and get that second guy coming out of the backfield or that second guy coming off the line? Do you trust number 6 to cover?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Nate Newton killed it. Nate Newton killed it, and I appreciate Nate Newton. Nate Newton has given me a whole nother perspective on this Cowboys defense to kind of add in to kind of where I was. I think we're watching a combination of a defense that was not implemented early enough and focused on and studied enough, players who don't like the scheme that all of a sudden that is being unleashed in the first 5 games of the season. And so because they don't like the scheme, we're watching a reluctance, I believe, to run the scheme and a lack of effort and a lack of accountability. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but I think Nate Newton hit it on the head. And I think what he's saying, it's adding up to what we're seeing with this Cowboys defense. Y'all let me know in the comments. Man, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys where we talk facts. Peace.